Hey, fifth graders! Today we are going to continue our Civil War unit and we are going to be talking about the Battle of Antietam and the Emancipation Proclamation. I want to begin by telling you what the word emancipation means. And it essentially means the fact or process of being set free from legal, social, or political restrictions, liberation. So if somebody is emancipated, they are being set free. All right, just to set the stage for the lesson so far, at this point in the war, it has not been going very well at all for the Union armies around Washington, D.C. In the East, the Union had lost every major battle in which it had fought in 1861 and 1862. In the West, the Union won major battle after major battle, but with the majority of the population being situated on the East Coast, most Americans focused on the East rather than the West. So they're not doing too hot in the East. They're winning in the West, but not the East. And the East is the main part that we're talking about here. Pressure has definitely built. By the summer of 1862, Lincoln is faced with increasing pressure from abolitionists seeking emancipation as part of the war effort. Remember, abolitionists are people that want to end slavery. And when it says they're seeking emancipation, they are seeking freedom. And Lincoln's the president, and he's feeling the pressure. He's feeling what these people want, and he's trying to make the right decisions. The risk of foreign involvement, okay? A foreign country is just a country outside of the United States, and the risk grows. They were afraid that Great Britain and France could recognize and help the Confederacy. And if they jumped in to help the Confederacy, that meant that the Union, which was the United States, could fall. Large numbers of slaves are leaving their owners and entering Union Army camps as refugees. So they're escaping and they're helping with the Union Army. Loss of battle leads to less war support from U.S. citizens. So when you're losing battles, you're not getting the support. As the war began and states seceded, President Abraham Lincoln called for volunteers to stop the secession and save the Union, save the United States. At this point, it is clear that something major needed to be done to change the course of this war. What can Lincoln do to help save the Union? All right, now we're coming to a Union victory. On July 22nd, 1862, Lincoln presents the preliminary means the beginning, or the initial, it's not finalized yet, presents the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation to his cabinet. His Secretary of State, William Seward, suggests that a Union victory should be achieved before issuing the proclamation. So before you tell everybody about the Emancipation Proclamation, you need a Union victory. And that's just a quote by the Secretary of State to the right. This is the first reading of the Emancipation Proclamation before the Cabinet, and it is a painting by F.B. Carpenter. Thus bringing us to Antietam. The battle was fought on September 17th in 1862. During the Battle of Antietam, the Confederate Army retreats. That means they go back from Maryland back into Virginia. They go from Maryland to Virginia. This allows the Union to claim a victory. So the Union gets the victory that they want. Now that the Union has won, Abraham Lincoln now has what he desires to issue the Emancipation Proclamation. All right, and emancipation is essentially setting those slaves free. With the Emancipation Proclamation, the war is still about preserving the Union, and freeing the slaves is a necessary war measure. Let's look again at the issues Lincoln was facing before the Emancipation Proclamation. Issue: Lincoln is faced with increasing pressure from abolitionists seeking emancipation as part of the war effort. Abolitionists see the Emancipation Proclamation as a step in the right direction for the emancipation or the freedom of all slaves. They will continue their fight for the end of slavery throughout the entire country, but this is definitely the first step. You can stop it in some areas, you can get it stopped in all of them. There was another issue, the risk of foreign involvement. Okay, the Union did not want other countries to go in and help the Confederacy because that meant that the Union might not be victorious. By winning at Antietam, the Union showed its ability to win in the Eastern theater of the Civil War. Additionally, most Europeans did not support slavery. Therefore, now that the war included freeing the slaves, they decided not to get involved. So they actually wanted to see these slaves be set free. Another issue was that large numbers of slaves are leaving their owners and entering Union Army camps as refugees. Caring for refugees is still difficult, but before there were questions on what to do with the refugees. With the Emancipation Proclamation, it is known to all commanders that the military and naval authorities thereof will recognize and maintain the freedom of said persons. So these refugees, those people that were fleeing away from their slave owners, were granted freedom and their rights. Another issue was that the loss of battles led to less war support from U.S. citizens. With the success at Antietam and Robert E. Lee, that's a Confederate commander's retreat, support for the war increased. So that support really started to increase when they started winning.